Our meeting this morning, our recessed meeting this morning, and we've already received and filed our minutes for May 22nd, received and filed our agenda, and we'll move into our hearing and reports. And I think we need to go with our reporter down here, Mr. Goot. We'll start off with you.
Welcome to this meeting today. I just want to give thanks. We got our Southern Hills Garden Club with us today. So thankful for you all making our city ongoing, making it beautiful. The flowers are fantastic. Lettuce tomato sandwich later on. But we experienced a great race up here. It was pretty hot, but that was quite an event for our city. I made my great race over to Jim's Hot Dogs after that. But we were down at a ribbon cutting at the Big Sandy facility, and it is a sight to behold. It is a state-of-the-art facility that they have renovated down there, and you know, that used to be Ashland Oil property down there, offices and so forth. But my thanks goes to Rob Van Hoos and John Stewart and all their employees and their families. They gave $5,000 to Hillcrest Bruce Mission, Safe Harbor, and Hope's Place that day. And along with that, that adds 70 employees to our downtown. So I'm thankful to the Van Hoos family. The farmers market is going on here in Central Park as we speak till this evening. And our city has experienced, well, I can't read my writing. Summer Motion is going on next week, starting next week. And I'm going to give kudos to the parks. We've had great numbers to the new city pool. That new renovation has really paid off. Probably record numbers over the heat that we've had. And so I thank Sean and Amber and all your crew. That was money well spent. So that's all I have.
Commissioner Martin.
Well, I join in thanking you ladies for what you do in our city, and it wouldn't be the same without the work that you put in on a regular basis. It really, really makes a difference to our town, and people that come through remark about how lovely our town looks as a result. The Big Sandy thing was a big event for Ashland. 70 employees is a big addition. It's nice to welcome them home. I mean, I remember when their grandfathers started on Greenup Avenue, and it's
Across the street.
yeah, exactly, and it's exciting to see what they've done, what they've accomplished in bringing their headquarters home. This is a fun time in the city with next week and summer, and the Dawson Pool's up and running, and Sean's doing a great job down there. We thank you for that. Got the park looking great too, Sean. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Renfro.
Well, I echo Commissioner Goot and Commissioner Martin's comments on the ladies from the Garden Club, along with Big Sandy. As I said to one of the reporters from the paper, the last time I was in that building, we did some dynamic entries with the police department, SRT team, and used paintball, and the turnaround was unbelievable. As far as the great race, when I saw the first 3 or 4 cars roll in with absolutely no air conditioning, I saw all I need to see. And also attended the Housing Authority's board meeting with, they have about a 98% occupancy right now. Hundreds, I'm talking hundreds on the waiting list. And the director, Mike Miller, will be here probably early fall to give us a report and talk about some possible expansions in the future.
Very good. He's here with the Southern Hills Garden Club. I would like, and I've spoke to some of you all about doing a work session, and I would like to ask our city manager to put together a work session. A lot of us receive complaints and things across the city that we want to work on. And I think the work session is probably the best avenue that we can attack these problems and talk openly about how we would handle each one of them. So if you would work out a date for us, and we'll be able to do those, because we've got a lot of things that we want to work on.
Sure, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I asked the Southern Hills Garden Club to come down here because I'm so proud of them, of what they've accomplished, and they continue to do it every year. I mean, if you've been on the riverfront, you see the big A there, and I was happy to be able to help down in there, plant those plants. But, you know, not only that, but, you know, in the park of all the entrances they have there, the daffodils, even our hanging plants, at certain times of the year, they trim those, and all the planters around the Paramount. It's just everywhere that they have their signature in this town. And I think it's a great organization, and I would like for you all to come up front here. I have just a small presentation I'd like to make for you guys. If you all want to come up with us too, that'd be fine. All right. With that said, I mean, of all the things that they've been able to accomplish and continue to accomplish, if we had groups like this in the city, it would be absolutely amazing if we could just replicate what they've already done, duplicate this organization. You know, it would be fantastic, because this commission, one of the things that we talked about from the very beginning, we want to help clean up the city. They've almost done that single-handedly. So maybe we'll call them on some other tasks. But I do want to, for recognition to you all, and it looks like you're going to be able to want to receive it. This is the key to the city, and I think that if we could give every one of you one, I would love to be able to do that. I only have a few of them. But it's such a great honor to be able to have them here, to recognize them, and all this commission, I think, truly understands what they mean, you know, to the city. And congratulations, ladies. I appreciate you all. Okay, one other session I was going to, I think Chief Kelly has a presentation that he wanted to give us about some recognition that you received and our department received from the Kentucky League of Cities.
So, every 3 years, our department goes under evaluation from the Kentucky League of Cities, who's our liability insurer on our, basically on our policing activities. And, for the past 5 sessions of these reviews, we've been able to obtain a 100% rating and following the guidelines. And basically what that is having appropriate policies, procedures, everything from tactical operations, just everyday policing operations, and using most up-to-date policies. And this kind of goes along with our accreditation also, which is basically a separate process. But we're recognized for our 5th award of a 100% score. So this is a big deal for not only just the department, but speaks volume. Only about 50 agencies in the state of Kentucky that can achieve this, or has achieved this, and we feel pretty special that we're one of them.
Excellent job.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Chief. And moving on to our city manager's report.
Great job, Chief Kelly and your team. At this time, I think we got City Attorney Andrew Wheeler is going to give us a brief report. And I should say his team.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Grubb. As I think you started this at the beginning of the year, each department taking a turn each month to give a brief presentation. We'll be very short. Samantha, if you come up here, Samantha Sires, our HR manager, is going to give you a brief update from HR and what they've been up to. As you know, HR is now under legal, so. Samantha.
Good afternoon. First, I have to ask, with the Hemming race, were there any Chevelles? Oh, that's my card, that's my card. Well, like Mr. Wheeler said, I'm gonna give you just a brief update on HR, kind of moving forward, since we're getting ready to turn to the new fiscal year. We currently have 298 full-time positions, 9 part-time positions, and 8 school resource officers. We have 57 seasonals. The majority of those are public services, take care of the pool, streets department. We offer a 12-week summer internship with our utilities department through the Waterworks program. And I have to say, Ashland was chosen as the pilot for this program last year from the state of Kentucky. Kudos to the utilities director, Mark Hall. He started this program with rural Kentucky and the University of Kentucky. And they started, it's a 3-year program that is paid for by grant funding. So what the grant pays for is they pay for the 4 interns that we have this summer, pays for their salary, their uniforms, their boots, and a stipend for mileage to get them to and from work. So I think that is a great, and we were the pilot for the entire state last year, and it's a 3-year deal. So I think that's amazing for Ashland. Great job. So I wanted to definitely mention that. The fire department also, they have an unpaid intern from Tri-State STEM. It's local, it's across the river, but we have one of those that's optional every season. And to circle back around to the intern for the utilities, we actually hired one full-time that was in the program last year. And then my final note would be the city health fair that we had in May. I greatly appreciate the local vendors. They made it happen. The great support from here local. And we had 88 in attendance, which, I'd like to see the number up a little bit, but I think 88 is.
It's a real benefit to our employees.
Yes,
Thank
it
you
is.
for holding it. It's very good.
So that's pretty much all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
Great job.
How can we help you get
Thank you, Samantha.
more city employees in there?
I try. I entice them with free food, free giveaways.
You go, Marty?
Oh, yeah, I sure did. Absolutely. What can I say?
Look at him, he better.
He's the first one through the.
Exactly.
Well,
Thank you,
thank
Samantha.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha.
Great job, Samantha.
Thanks, Samantha. Her and Mandy Evans both do a great job taking care of our folks in HR. Next, Mike McKay, our Assistant Corporation Counsel. He's handling the collections that I previously handled primarily, and just wanted to have him give a brief update on the totals that we've had over the last year or so. Mike?
Well, thanks for inviting me, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, Mr. Wheeler. There's several different aspects on the collections I handle. One is the city taxes and the school taxes, and that's a figure of $269,076. Now, that figure doesn't include everything. So, for instance, that figure primarily is from foreclosures, but I also arrange payment plans for certain people, and then so not everybody that is on a payment plan sends that check through me. So sometimes they just go downstairs. So that figure is likely a lot larger. Now, code enforcement, that figure is $155,505.76. And I just wanted to say that I couldn't have done that without the benefit of the code enforcement people like Scott Neese, J.D. Pinson, and then also Debbie. So it's truly a team effort on all those collections. And then I also assist with the Board of Zoning Adjustment, the code enforcement, the Planning Commission, and then the Urban Renewal Board.
Excellent.
Great job.
Well, and just,
That's some impressive numbers, though.
well, just, we've kind of cleared the decks over the last few years. There was a lot of kind of low-hanging fruit, and so Mike's done a really good job of digging into those numbers and watching the foreclosures. There's a lot you have to watch with that. But on the code enforcement side, we've changed that process a little bit, so we're a lot more aggressive when it gets to the litigated side, that we go after those, because code enforcement has a priority right after tax for foreclosure sales. So that's not something where it's often happening from private individuals. It's usually something that's going to the courthouse steps, and if it doesn't, if we don't collect that, us or the county, it could leave the area, so we try to get every dollar we can.
Great job.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And just to give you guys a brief update on what I've been working on here recently, Erica, if you don't care to go to the slide, one of the things you all have asked us to work on is a parking ordinance, and this is a visual representation of kind of what we've come up with. This is Chief Kelly and my department both have been working on this the last little bit. Some of the parameters that we kind of set for this based on feedback we got from you guys, from staff, from the community, where there wasn't much appetite right now for a paid parking structure. So this is a quote-unquote free parking structure. There's no paid time or anything of that nature. This is, you pull in, you park just like you are now. In the 2 hour, it'll be a 2 hour zone is what I'm proposing. That's up to you all to set, but that's what I'm proposing we start with. We can change it and alter it if we need to.
Is that the blue area?
The blue area there, yeah. And it'll stretch from basically 13th to 18th, Carter to Greenup. Previously, under the parking ordinance, we had included Central Avenue, just to try to limit the area a little bit that Todd and Chief Kelly and his people have to cover. And it doesn't seem like there's a major parking concern over on Central or any of those areas. So that's why we've done that. The areas where there would be free, unlimited daily parking would be the parking garage, the public lot next to where the Paramount is, and then the public lot next to where the hotel is. And also in areas outside that, one of those highlighted here is Mayo Plaza between Central and Carter. That's an area that sometimes is heavily utilized and sometimes not. So basically, it'll work like this. If you want to park, you come in and park. You'll get 2 hours free, uninhibited, when you enter the zone. Your 2 hours will start whenever Chief Kelly's officers go around and scan with an LPR. I think we spoke about that a little bit previously. We can't chalk the tires. There's Sixth Circuit rulings on that says you can't touch the vehicle or chalk the tires. So we're left with basically a license plate reader. It's a device that can be operated through a cell phone, software, that kind of thing, and we're finding a very economical way to hopefully do that in a short amount of time. Your 2 hours starts whenever you get scanned. Basically, if you count 2 hours from the time you enter the zone and park, you'll be fine. There is no input. You don't have to go to a meter. You don't have to go to a kiosk. You don't have to go to your phone. You just get out of the car. You go. Handle whatever business you need to handle, go to the barber shop, go shop, go out to eat. If you think you might need more than the 2 hours, or if there's a concern like with employees or something like that of businesses, you can use any of the free unlimited zones, and those won't be scanned. That's just free daily parking, not intended to be overnight, but just go park in that, and you can park there for as long daily as you like to. And you won't have any type of issue with a potential citation or a fine. If you exceed the 2 hours and you're scanned for that, you'll get a citation, and it's a paper citation. I believe Chief Kelly, that will be printed out in the vehicle, the police vehicle. It'll be put on the vehicle, so you'll know immediately if you've got one. The fine structure that I recommend right now is $5 for the first ticket, $10 for the second ticket, and $15 for the third ticket and every ticket thereafter. Collection will be handled all by the city. Actually, it's the old Clancy program, I think, Todd, that we used to use with the meters. That system will be reutilized and continue to be utilized, but we'll have a local board or a hearing officer or something by statute we have to have, so this won't be any external third party trying to make a grand profit off this. This will be all locally handled. One of the issues that we've been asked to directly try to address is something that's called roosters. which are folks that just kind of park out in front of storefronts all day long. And that's probably the number one complaint that we've been getting, since we started looking into what we might do. This model is being used currently in the city of Wheeling, West Virginia, a form of this model. They recently did a complete downtown rehab, and that's what they're using. LPRs, timed unlimited parking, all free. And then also, City of Pikeville uses a form of this. And so we kind of looked at a couple different models that are in existence of how to do it. So there's been research involved. And Eric, if you can go to the next slide for us. I know one concern that you may have is, we're going to use the parking lot next to the Paramount for that, but that's where you all are going to put the conference center. How's that going to impact parking? Well, right now, and you're free to check my math, I did as best I can. I drove it last night and found 11 more spaces there underneath those trees. But I count 116 spaces there right now. Eric, if you'll go to the next slide for us. A couple other things in addition to this ordinance that are on your agenda. Well, one other item. The area in red in that graphic is the strip that's owned by Red Draw. That's the why it's in red. There's a proposed contract on the agenda today for the purchase of that lot. If you choose to complete that purchase, that will basically make it so the city owns Carter to Winchester and everything between except for the dance studio, and will make it a great deal easier, I believe, for us to restripe and utilize all of that area to maximize the parking. We've also set up between fire department, code enforcement, engineering, and streets. This will all be handled internally except for asbestos removal, which we simply can't do. The cost on that, I think Jacob Reisner got us a quote, it'll be about $7,500 or so, but we have to do asbestos removal on the Paramount, the house that the Paramount owned. We are coordinating with them as well. That house is empty. Holly Canfield and Mike Brown, who handles their facilities, I've spoken directly with both of them, as other folks have too, with APD and AFD. But that house is ready to come down. The Brooks Wells building that we've closed on is ready to come down. We're also going to do Fire Chief Alley and Deputy Chief McKenzie are arranging for a controlled burn sometime in, I believe, mid-July, and we hope to have that ready to be resurfaced and maximize the parking in that area by August the 1st. So hopefully you'll look at late fall or so maybe and see that restriped to receive maximum capacity. And Eric, if you don't go to the next slide, I know you've seen this graphic before. This was part of the presentation made by AP3. They've essentially indicated that they believe that could be, that area that we're talking about could be utilized for about 106 spaces. So if you consider there's 116 there right now, and once it's reworked to maximize efficiency, their estimate is about 106 spaces. You're dealing with about a net decrease of 10. Also over at the hotel spot, right now that's got about 26 spaces. There's a little bit of area in that parking lot that it may be able to be expanded and reworked to add up another 20 spaces. So you could come out with a little bit more parking from that lot too. So, and otherwise, that's all I've got for you today. Appreciate being asked to present, and if you have any questions, happy to try to answer them.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your work and for Todd's work in this. I got a place in my heart for downtown. We grew up, downtown. And, I talked to several merchants today. I go talk about them, and their main concern is roosters. Of course, that's an ongoing problem. I remember when there was meters there.
concern
I
for
remember when
30
we had,
years.
yeah, we had a city sticker. Remember the city sticker? And we had, of course, my dad said he'd cut my hands off if I didn't park in the park when I worked. So we'd walk from the park to go to work downtown, to keep those spaces open for people shopping. But you have a new restaurant coming where Murphy's is. You have people in the arcade that constantly are complaining about roosters there right in front of the arcade. I will say there's about 7 two-hour signs up and down Winchester right now, 2-hour parking. There is none between 14th and or 15th and 16th.
we've got some kinks to work out, and this isn't gonna take effect immediately. It's gonna take us, a little bit of time for Todd and his guys to get the technology where it needs to be. Also, I know it's been discussed in prior commission meetings, Winchester Avenue does present a little bit of a challenge with the back-end angled parking, because the LPR is mounted to a police enforcement vehicle. There is a handheld option, that Todd's PSO, Jesse Webb, I believe, will be able to carry as a handheld option. It's basically a modified cell phone. So we're trying to work through that too. Listen, I don't know that this is gonna be perfect. It likely won't be. If nothing else, it's a starting point, and maybe we can go from there, but you all requested action. Every time I go to get my haircut, that takes about 2 minutes these days, but every time I go over there to get my haircut, I get, lobbied about roosters and stuff like that too. So hopefully this will at least take some type of, some type of effect relatively quickly, and if it doesn't work, we'll look at it again and modify.
Well, you've done exactly what we've asked.
Yeah.
And,
It's a
I
high
think you've done
priority
a
item.
great job.
Yes.
This, it takes care of a lot of the questions that are out there. And hopefully a lot of the problems. Can we adjust it? Sure, but, we've got to try somewhere.
Absolutely.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
And your
We're
team.
not gonna hear from Susan, she didn't have anything to.
She's not done really anything the last year or 3 years. Listen, Susan is the MVP of the legal department.
I know what
And,
Susan is.
I mean, she's an invaluable asset to the city. I could go on for days. If I started talking about Susan, I'd be here all day. She's the most important person in our department by far.
She's the queen of the city.
There you go. All right. If you got that done, we'll move to our public participation. If there's anyone that would like to address the commission, you can come to the podium and state your name and your address, and you'll have 5 minutes to talk about your subject, and we'll indicate that with a green light, and yellow light you got 30 seconds, and red light you're out of time. Yes, sir.
Flying solo today. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, it's a pleasure always to meet before the commission. Just as an introduction, I know most everybody here. It's nice to see the ladies here. Nice to see Sam back there. It's like a family reunion here a little bit.
Go ahead and state it.
And by the way, special kudos to you because I finally won that Garden of the Year, Guard of the Month, yes. I've been shooting that thing for like 5 years. And, but anyway, seriously though.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Oh, yes, yes. My name is Ben Cooksey. I'm a resident of Ashland. I live at 1518 Kentucky Avenue.
There you
I'm
go.
here on behalf of my company. I work for a company called CW Services, and the gentleman's name is Shannon Wells. Shannon has other properties here. What I'm asking you all to do, if I can approach you all, give you a handout here. I'm asking you all to declare some property as surplus property to potentially be bought.
You can give it to the clerk here.
Okay? That's what you are here.
I'm fine, how are
You
you?
just take one down, pass it around.
Okay.
And I know my time is very limited, and I put this together yesterday, and not knowing that Mr. Wheeler was gonna talk about parking, I found a mistake that I put on here, and I had to laugh at myself because I am from Boyd County. There's the lot that you see on here is a picture of a lot that we own. It's the parking lot across from the tennis courts, catty-cornered from the old AEP building. And you'll notice that I put in there that it's a .89 acre parking lot. I forgot the G. So, I
only
was
pronounced
joking.
parking lot.
There's parking lots for cars, then parking, I think, is something that I attempted to do when I was 17 years old. But anyway, what it is we own, there's an entity called SAZ Properties. We own that .89 acre parcel. That strip of parking on the back side is .16 acres. That used to be the old railroad alley back in the day. The only thing I remember from that youth is I used to drive to the AP building, or my mom would take me there and I'd get a balloon when we paid the utility bill back in the 70s. But that strip of parking, we are asking to declare that as surplus property, if that's the proper procedure to do that. We would like to have an opportunity to basically bid on that to add that to our property. The reason for that is really simple. We are actively trying to market that property. I've talked to potential developers about real estate type issues there, medical type facilities, and some other things. And as we were evaluating this, it became more and more, I'll say, critical to get that extra space because of building setbacks and everything when you go to build something. So all I'm asking is that you would declare that as surplus property, whatever that procedure is, because quite frankly, I don't know. The remaining 2 pages on what I sent you is just the surveys that we had done that show the acreage of our .89 acres, and then in addition, that last drawing incorporates it all into one legal description. The only other thing I would point out, and I previously sent an email to Mr. Wheeler, we had this all surveyed when we did this. There's a little bit of discrepancy between our survey and what was in the 1977 ordinance when they basically abandoned that alleyway. So we've got a full legal description ready to go, and that's really what I'm here for. We are hoping to develop that property. We might sell it, we might develop. I've got several things in the fire, but having that additional little strip of property would be very helpful to us.
Okay. Well, I'll ask our city manager and attorney to review this and maybe give us a recommendation.
Sure. We'll probably get a recommendation and some ideas from Community Economic Development.
Okay, yeah.
And probably Mark Hall and Engineering for any potential utility type consideration.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right,
All
well,
I have.
Thank you.
all right,
Thank you,
we'll,
appreciate it.
appreciate you coming. Thank you. All right, anyone else like to address the commission? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to our old business.
Item A.
Item A.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky approving and adopting the 2025-2026 budget and appropriating revenues on hand to be received during the year 2025-2026 for the payment of expenses of the City of Ashland for the 12-month period beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026, and repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky fixing the regulatory license fee at 4% of the gross receipts from the sale of alcoholic beverages within said city during the fiscal year July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026, as authorized and imposed by Section 24 of Ordinance Number 8, Series of 2021, known and cited as the Alcohol Beverage Control Ordinance for the City of Ashland, such proceeds to be used to reimburse the city for expenses related to the sale of alcoholic beverages therein.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item C.
And second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky fixing the tax levy for the year 2025 payable in the year 2026 on the bank deposits franchise tax for revenue purchases by the City of Ashland.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda.
A resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of June 26, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, deletions, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, new business. Item A.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor and Tony D. Grubb, city manager, or Michelle Veach, assistant chief financial officer, to renew a line of credit on behalf of the City of Ashland in order to borrow sufficient funds for operational expenses for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Is this the same line of credit that we currently have? I mean, it hasn't changed. Is it the same amount?
It is I think it's actually bumped up, or is it the same, Michelle? It's 3.5 million at the same bank.
Okay.
The previous term was 6 months. This would extend it to 1 year.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
City Manager, you've talked about getting us off this. Any timeline on that?
I would like to get us off the line of credit as soon as possible. I think I'd originally stated the end of the year or the first of 2026.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Especially in, I think if it's just first quarter, we'd be doing very good, but next year, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a real estate purchase agreement between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Red Draw Development LLC for the purchase of a parcel of property located on Carter Avenue between 13th Street and 14th Street by the City of Ashland in an amount not to exceed $75,000 and authorizing Chuck D. Charles, Mayor, to execute any and all documents associated with and/or necessary to complete said purchase of real property."
So moved.
Second.
discussion? This is what you just saw on the presentation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky establishing premium rates for the City of Ashland, Kentucky medical care plan, all employees hired prior to July 1, 2020, and all fire union employees hired prior to July 1, 2025, and repealing ordinance number 87, series of 2021.
So moved.
Second.
again, good job on this, guys, on
Absolutely.
everybody involved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item D,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky establishing premium rates for the City of Ashland, Kentucky medical care plan, all employees hired after July 1, 2020, and all fire union employees hired after July 1, 2025, and repealing ordinance number 88, series of 2021.
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item E,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 3 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Spear Corporation for the Dawson Pool Filtration System Project, decreasing the contract in the amount of $46,500 for the Department of Parks and Recreation."
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item F,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Lights Enterprises, Inc. for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris of 1407 Acres Street in the amount of $5,900 for the Department of Community and Economic Development to be paid from Community Development Block Grant Funds."
So moved.
Second.
discussion?
Catherine, I told you I'd be. How many demolitions now?
Total
Yes.
2020 is 103 have been completed, and then we have 5 pending. And we have 2 on the agenda today and 3 that contracts have been executed, but that obviously not being demolished yet. So by here in the next month or so, we'll be looking at 180.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great job.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item G,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky designating parking regulations within the City of Ashland, establishing a penalty for violation and repealing any and all other ordinances in conflict herewith."
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item H,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise DBE Program Tier 2 for the City of Ashland bus system."
So moved.
Second.
first and the second, is there a short answer to this, what the difference is?
These are
Yeah,
some new
I mean, in
requirements.
now being, designated as the DBE.
Ironically, we have to have one, but our bus grant will never reach the amount where we have to utilize it.
Oh, okay.
And we had a triennial review, and they said we had to have one, but our amount of bus grants we get, we'll never have to utilize it. It'll never apply to the city.
Bureaucracy at its finest.
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. Well, I do have a kind of a small plan for this, but you all know about it. All right, all in,
Voted, we haven't voted.
what's that?
We haven't voted.
Oh, I know. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item I.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, adopting the City of Ashland Title VI Program Civil Rights Assurance per the Federal Transit Administration requirements for the Ashland bus system and repealing ordinance number 136, series of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item J.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, amending Appendix E, drug-free workplace policy, and adopting Appendix R, drug and alcohol policy for employees who perform a safety-sensitive function, as defined in 49 CFR Part 655, Section 655.4 of the Policies and Procedures Compensation Plan and Classification Plan, as adopted by ordinance number 51, series of 2017, as previously amended.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Item K.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, accepting the proposal of the Sutphen Corporation and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a purchase agreement between the City of Ashland and Sutphen Corporation for the purchase of a Sutphen Heavy Stock Unit 595 fire truck, complete and delivered in the amount of $999,274 for the Ashland Fire Department.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And explanation?
I would request the fire chief to come up and give us a brief.
Mayor and Commissioners, good afternoon. As many of you may know, in May of this year, we sustained a accident to our engine out in South Ashland. It is currently getting repaired. The truck that is on the agenda today was a planned budgeted purchase. It is moving it up to now instead of waiting 2 or 3 years down the line. Due to the fact of losing that engine, we are currently in a situation where we don't have a viable reserve apparatus to use in case another engine goes down or has any kind of maintenance or anything done to it. This vehicle that is mentioned here is coming off the line, and it has the most of the specs that we use for speccing our engines. And that's why we're asking this today of you.
So what if, something happens to another engine? What would we do?
Right
We
now,
set an agreement with other departments?
we would have to go into an agreement to borrow a truck from someone. I know that we have looked at options of leasing trucks from third-party places that offer that service, and the cost is outrageous. So we're kind of in a bad situation there with that.
Yeah.
Mr. City Manager, it's my understanding this is not currently a budgeted item. Is that correct? This particular truck?
That is correct.
But there was previously a truck budgeted that is similar in cost, that this is being moved in
Yes,
place of.
yes,
Is that right?
yes,
So-
that fire truck is being bumped up forward.
And
We'll
the
get
other
it
one
sooner.
is being moved back and will be included in a future budget.
Yes, yes.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay, all right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, item L.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, accepting a lease purchase proposal and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute said lease purchase proposal between the City of Ashland and Leasing 2, Inc. for the purchase of a Sutphen Heavy Stock Unit 595 fire truck, complete and delivered in the amount of $999,274 for the Ashland Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
Going back to the truck that was damaged, didn't we have a picture of that? To let everybody know what we
I
actually.
think we do.
Ah,
There it is.
There you go.
there it is.
Yeah.
That's the main reason.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what are the odds? Okay. All right. All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item M.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Tri-State Construction for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris at 3169 Central Avenue in the amount of $4,800 for the Department of Community Economic Development to be paid from the CDBG funds."
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item N.
Reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute and submit a grant application through the Eastern District of Kentucky U.S. Attorney's Office for funding in the amount of $40,056 for the project Safe Neighborhoods Program for the Ashland Police Department, and if awarded, authorizing acceptance of the grant and further authorizing and directing the mayor to execute any and all other documents regarding said grant."
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item O.
Reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to accept the donation of a bullet and stab-resistant vest valued at $1,800 from vested interest in K9 S Inc. for use by K9 Mabel of the Ashland Police Department."
So,
Second.
Discussion? You know, as a K-9 officer, and not coming from this era where you had electronic stuff, I mean, to have a bulletproof vest, I mean, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. You wouldn't think, I mean, street dog, you would think that, but.
I don't want anything to happen to that dog. That's a good dog.
today's law enforcement activities, it's just as important to protect the canine as it is the handler or any officer on the street.
Yeah.
Bad guys are showing what valuable resource they are.
Gotcha. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item P.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a severance agreement and general release between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Michelle Dickens."
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item Q.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky amending Section 2 of Ordinance Number 85, Series of 2024, which is commonly known and referred to as the FY 2024-2025 Budget Ordinance of the City of Ashland."
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Executive session we need?
I don't have anything.
Okay, all right. Then I will ask for a motion to recess this meeting till tomorrow at noon in order to do our second readings on this. And the reason why is
We have one meeting.
you
in
only have
July.
one meeting in July, and that's almost a month away for our second readings.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we'll recess this, and if you all don't mind, I would, I'd like to adjourn this meeting, or recess this meeting, in the memory of my father-in-law, Doug Daniel. Good guy.
Good. Thanks again, ladies.
Thank you all.
Thanks for sticking with us and through the whole meeting, too.
Yeah.
Andrew got through it all